Hello and welcome to this week's episode of John's Garage. This week we're going to take a look at this magnificent BMW E30 316i. So first of all, before I get into the car, I just really want to thank everyone. We've hit 500 subscribers and for me that's a major achievement. So thank you all very much for tuning in and subscribing and watching every week. So let's get on with it anyway, enough of that. Okay, so what we're looking at today is a BMW E30. This is a 1989 example and therefore it's after the second major revision, which would have happened around 1987. This particular car it featured is in Alpine White, which is in absolutely immaculate condition, this particular car. So just a little bit about the E30, produced from 1982 to 1994. Of course, those later models being the Touring. Was sold alongside the E36 from 1991 to 1994 in some markets. Okay, what we're featuring today is the coupe variant, so it's two-door saloon coupe. The E30 models themselves were first updated in 1985 with a few light revisions, but the major update came in 1987 where they really got the handling right, the body style right, lovely rear end and really squared off that look and it looks great. So this particular example, as I said, is the 316i. So what did that get you? If you went into your BMW dealer back in 1989 and ordered a 316i, what did you get? Well, first of all, here for Ireland, you got the tax-friendly 1.6 litre fuel-injected engine with approximately 98 horsepower when new, and that came in at 107 pounds of foot torque at about 4.5 RPMs. I should say that 98 braking horsepower also came in at 5,500 RPMs. You had a 0 to 100 kilometer time of 12.1 seconds, so it was nippy enough for the time, but I think nippy is even being generous. It could move faster than a Corolla. That done most people here in Ireland. There was a maximum top speed of 113 miles per hour or 182 kilometers per hour as we're now using, and this particular example has about 70,000 kilometers, a little bit below that. You can see in the interior it is absolutely gorgeous, very austere, very clear cut. There's no trouble using any of the very basic climate control systems. There's a lovely Alpine radio in this particular example as well, and of course that 4-spoke steering wheel. It's beautiful to hold with those little thumb presses for the horn and stuff like that. So really nice. And what I always love about these generation of BMWs is the lovely control of the indicator stalks and wiper stalks. The seats themselves, very comfortable. This particular car's barely run in. Everything is in great condition. Everything works. There's no fraying on the seats or anything like that. And of course, you also get that beautiful 5-speed gearbox. So talking again about that engine, what is it? 1.6 litre, it's a 4-cylinder inline petrol engine. The particular car has a curb weight of about 1,100 kg. So in fairness, the power to weight ratio here isn't too bad. But as I say, it's not the 6-cylinder, it's not the 320, so you're not going to win any land speed records here or anything like that. But of course, the major thing which this car has is its rear wheel drive, and it's got a 5-speed manual gearbox. So on the topic of all that, you have excellent handling. Even though this is pretty much a base model in terms of engine and drivetrain, this car is absolutely beautiful to drive, and that's what makes it really special. Okay, so what's making this beautiful to drive? Well, you have double joint spring strut McPherson's at the front, McPherson strut axle at the front. You have semi-trailing arms, coil springs, rear suspension. And this particular suspension setup was very, very compact, which of course gave more space inside and out. Actually, just thinking right now as well, I just want to let you know, tune in right to the end because there's actually a story about this car and I'm going to need your help in terms of figuring out the truth behind the story, but I'll get back to that in just a second. Tire size, you can see by looking at these tires, they're nice and meaty. Now, standard, they were 14-inch, 175/70 profile tires, so quite chunky, quite comfortable. Not what you get in a BMW nowadays. They're pretty much like elastic bands, but that's fine. That's fashions change and stuff like that. Stopping power if you need to stop in a hurry. You have vented discs at the front, solid discs at the rear. So as I said, this is a particularly beautiful example of this car. In fact, I'll dare say this was damn near flawless, especially in the paintwork, because I did look. One of the things which these cars are notorious for is rust. I couldn't find anywhere. I couldn't find any rust. Literally, I looked underneath, I looked under bonnet, lifted boot carpet, looked everywhere. No rust anywhere. Which was pretty much amazing on a car like this. Now, there is a little bit of a story with this car, and I hinted at that just a second ago. So, what is the story? This car was imported from the UK, if I remember correctly, around 2004. It might be a year or two later than that, but in and around that time. It was imported by a father in Dublin. He bought it for his son for his 18th or his 21st. The person who told me the story, the current owner wasn't 100% sure. But anyway, it was imported for the guy's son for a birthday present. Father presented it to the son, and as the story goes, the son turned his nose up at it. Now, if that was my son done that, I'd probably strangle him. I wouldn't have the patience for that. But anyway, the son said, "No, Dad, I asked you for a Toyota Glanza. It's a Toyota Glanza I want. I do not want this car. Get rid of it." So the father sold it to the current owner. That's how the current owner came into possession of the car. So what I would like from people listening here is, can you confirm if that story is true? I'd love to track down the guy who said, "No, I'd actually prefer, in all honesty, to have a Glanza over this absolutely showroom mint BMW 316i. I'd love to know if that's true. Now, I'm not castigating the guy. I can see maybe why he would prefer a Glanza to this. I'm certainly going to be a bit more lively to drive, and a bit more sporty and all that kind of thing, if that's what you're into. But as I say, this particular car, this is a dream car as far as I'm concerned. Also, that photo, very kindly for his son, included a brilliant sound system in here. I'll be honest, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, I know nothing about this. So again, if you want to type in the comments about the sound system, maybe it's good, maybe it's not. I don't know. It looks impressive. So back to the story. I'd love if we could track down that guy and find out, number one, did he get the Glanza? Number two, did his father forgive him, or did he mind too much? And, what does he think in hindsight? Did he make the right choice with this car? And you can see there the history file for it from the UK owner, previous UK owner, including a bunch load of receipts. I think every BMW I've ever road tested or featured in the channel, I always open up the toolkit because I love to see that toolkit. I just think it's amazing. It's the most impressive toolkit I think I see regularly in any car. Although I'm not 100% sure, do they still have it in the brand new ones? Maybe somebody could let me know. It would be great to find that out. As I said though, this car was incredible. The owner maintains it to the absolute nines. It's rarely used, it's rarely out, and being really honest folks, it's a really special treat that we got to see it. So thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you again soon.